Three confessed to Kitty gold heist. Van West Charles charged for misleading GEA. Thieves steal Guyana Jaguar captain's gold medal. And government moves to take privately owned land on the west side. I am Noriko Bulford, and welcome to tonight's edition of Uncut News. One GDF sergeant is among 3 persons in police custody in connection with last week's multi-million-dollar gold trader robbery in Kitty, Georgetown. A search of the sergeant's home uncovered $18 million in cash buried in his backyard. A police statement said that the company's chief security officer is also in custody. He allegedly fed the men information prior to the robbery. Last Thursday morning, they invaded Wallison Enterprise and made off with over $20 million worth of raw gold and more than $38 million in cash. The cops are still looking for 2 other suspects, while the 3 in custody should be going to court tomorrow. As of today, the Natural Resources Fund now holds US $388.7 million, following the 7th oil lift on July 3rd. This is from the production of 7,056,262 barrels of oil. This number does not include any royalties, by the way. Speaking during the debate to amend the Petroleum Act, the Natural Resources Minister repeated the government's promise not to touch the money until there are measures in place for greater accountability. Supposedly. This morning, head of GWI Dr. Richard Van West Charles was charged for allegedly submitting false or misleading information to the Guyana Energy Agency. He pleaded not guilty to the charge, which alleged that on November 13, 2020, his company, Atlantic Fuels Inc., submitted an invoice to the GEA regarding a shipment of diesel, which he claimed to have been purchased from Global Oil NV, knowing the same to be false or misleading. The magistrate released the director on $100,000 bail and adjourned the matter until August 16th. The National Rum Shop is in full session, and the Speaker, Manzoor Nadir, is shutting down any possibility for debating the government's harsh new policies against those who have not been vaccinated. Harman wanted to raise the issue as a matter of urgent public importance. However, Nadir said it was not an urgent matter and disallowed Harman's request to move a motion to discuss it. Harman said the new measures have severely hampered the ability of the people of Guyana to access public and government services, as government agencies and organizations have taken it upon themselves to impose additional measures beyond the directly gazetted orders. In other parts of the Caribbean, mandatory vaccination orders has triggered large protests in St. Vincent, Antigua, and Barbados. Are you one of the chosen few that benefits from duty-free? Good for you! Check out these amazing vehicles that just arrived at Best Buy Auto Sales. This 2016 Toyota Harrier Grand Sport Edition, this 2014 Range Rover Evoque, and this 2016 Lexus RX 200T are all on sale. They are all fully loaded and come with all modern features. Call or WhatsApp 662-0844 for more info, or visit their showrooms at Lot 171 Bittero Street, Queenstown, or Lot 2 Long Street, and tell them Noriko sent you to get in on a sweet deal. This morning, Lonfield dropped his court case seeking to block his dismissal from GCOM. Justice Joanne Barlow was expected to hand down her decision in the matter this morning, but Lonfield's attorney, Nigel Magic Math Hughes, informed the court that his client no longer wished to pursue the matter and therefore he was withdrawing the case. The withdrawal comes after the PPP GCOM commissioners amended their motion for dismissal against Lonfield. Instead of seeking his summary dismissal, they now want his dismissal in keeping with the terms of his contract. The amendment to the motion was made after Lonfield had already moved to the courts. Captain of the Guyana Jaguars cricket team, Leon Johnson, is pleading for the return of his Golden Arrow of Achievement medal. Johnson was awarded the medal in 2019. The Golden Arrow of Achievement is the 4th highest national award a civilian can earn in this nation. Thieves burglarized his residence between Saturday and Sunday while he was not home. In addition to stealing the gold medal, the thieves also carted off with the safe. But Johnson said he could care less about the money and jewelry in the safe, He's more interested in the person who stole his medal to find some shred of decency and return the medal to him. On Saturday night, a fire damaged a section of the psychiatric hospital at Fort Kanji, New Amsterdam, Belize. Police say 19 male patients pushed down the back door after the fire erupted in the washroom area. 14 of them have been caught and returned to the hospital, leaving 5 still on the run. It is still unclear how they got matches to set the fire in the first place. Nurse supervisor Wavenry Felix told police that she was in her office when she observed smoke emanating from Chalet 4 and she summoned firefighters. An investigation is in progress. Don't miss the grand 50% off sale and get a free 1-month Digital Prime bundle plan. Available at City Mall, Starbucks Square, Regent and Light Street, Marcy Turkine, and Marcy Providence. Shop early, limited stocks available. It's now time for today's Rona Report. Today, the nation recorded 12 new cases. There are now 561 persons dead, 19 persons in the ICU, 691 persons in home isolation. The total number of confirmed cases around the nation now stands at 22,992. So please, people, wash your hands frequently. Avoid touching your nose and mouth and mask up before you leave the house. When you do leave home, try to avoid enclosed spaces and large crowds. And remember to give 6 feet of space between you and others. On Sunday afternoon, cops in Antigua and Barbuda fired tear gas on hundreds of protesters who massed in the capital of St. John's, despite a stern warning by the National Security Minister not to violate the police's refusal to give the group permission to protest. This is the second major unrest in the Caribbean against government efforts to suppress unvaccinated persons, the first having been last week Thursday's pelting of Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves. And since then, there have also been protests in Barbados. Have a business and need access to more Goondu balls? Register it on one of the fastest growing business directories in Guyana. Sign up for free on snap.gy and get your business listed today. And yes, you heard me right, it's absolutely free. Get listed today on snap.gy. And now for our stupid news of the day. You know what I think is stupid? The fact that the government has just issued an order to compulsorily acquire land that will be used to construct the Gas to Shore project and the pipeline on the west side. This order comes weeks after the High Court ruled in favor of the current owners of the plots of land where the pipeline would be laid. So instead of paying the people to use the land, the government has just made a law allowing them to legally take it for free. While that's pretty messed up, it's actually a common move for governments around the world to repossess land for what they deem to be the good of the public. But the problem I have is the fact that the government sees it fit to repossess a 22-kilometer long, 30-meter wide strip of land on the West Bank, but not any land in town to help people get decent housing, as they'd rather just throw them in housing schemes in the middle of nowhere. Why can't the government ever repossess land to create community centers in blighted neighborhoods like Alboys Town, or even housing on the East Coast so they don't have to tear gas squatters living on Kaisuko land? I could go on, but I just wanted to bring your attention to the fact that most of this nation's problems are solvable. It's just not profitable for the few who control things around here. And if you ask me, I think that is pretty stupid. You there, Mr. Truck Owner. A great place to get high-quality truck parts and engine spares for low prices is Powered Automotive. They stock parts for DAF, Freightliner, Mach, International, and all models of Cummins engines. Visit them at Lot 1161 EE Eccles, or call them on 697-0171. Save big on truck parts at Powered Automotive, the #1 heavy-duty truck parts store in Guyana. Real thing. Moving on to our Uncut News Views poll question of the day. Every day we pose a question about current events in the nation, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it relates to us. So you give your responses in the comments and we'll read the best ones in the following episode. Friday's question was, do you support the government's enhanced pressure on unvaccinated citizens? Ishmael Mohammed said, it's been a year now since COVID began impacting Guyanese, so I think everybody should have the knowledge right now, since it's been a year, so they shouldn't have a problem taking the vaccine. Joseph Nandkishun said, we Guyanese need to stand together against the government for this restriction against unvaccinated persons. All Guyanese have equal rights and therefore we must have free access without hindering at all government agencies. Guyana is its own country and we don't need to follow others. Mr. Frank Anthony should do the honorable thing and step down. And finally, Jay Jairam said, I support all restrictions for the unvaccinated. I am hoping that the vaccines become mandatory. Think about the vaccines of the older days. They were mandatory. Now the world doesn't have measles, mumps, or rubella. So for tonight's question, do you believe that the Gas to Shore project will bring as many benefits as the government projects, or should more studies and other industrial investments be done before they decide to drop all this money on this specific project? Think about that question and tell us in the comments below. If your response is good enough, we just might feature it in our next episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight. Check us out tomorrow for another. Until then, I'm Rico Bulford saying good night, folks. Hey Uncut News viewers, thanks for watching. You can subscribe by clicking on this button over here, or click over there for more news. You can also drop a comment to let me know if you've made it to the end of the video. Goodbye for now.